With the news reports coming in of the eruption of the Nyiragongo volcano in the Democratic Republic of Congo, here's just a short video showing how we can use Scene Viewer to help our students get something of the context of this volcano. So we can start off by taking a look at it in the context of Africa itself, and we come in a little bit closer. If your students cover anything to do with the East African Rift Valley, this volcano is situated right in the middle of the Rift Valley, and this layer here that has the major faults in Africa on it shows that pattern along with the volcanoes of that linear pattern coming down here and these linear lakes that are forming as this part of Africa seems to be starting to split itself off from the rest of Africa itself. And if we come in a little bit closer and turn on a hillshade layer, we can very much see that pattern beginning to emerge. We can see the topography in this landscape of the higher ground, the central Rift Valley and the lower ground. But using some of the analyze tools in Scene Viewer, we can draw this profile here, which really allows us to see that Rift Valley and the topography coming out very, very clearly here. You can see the higher ground here to the west, dropping down with that very steep Rift Valley there and coming up in the topography on either side of it. And you can draw a few of these profiles just really to illustrate to your pupils the setting of the Nyiragongo volcano in exactly that Rift Valley context. Any one of these locations will allow you to do that, and of course you can move around in 3D and explore that. Having done that, here's the volcano itself. We can zoom in a little bit closer and have a look at that volcano in context. It's one of a number of volcanoes here, but it is one of the most dangerous volcanoes in the world because it is extremely active, and it's one of the volcanoes in the world that very often will have an active lava lake in the summit crater. The crater itself looks absolutely stunning. If I open this in a new tab, we can have a very good look at that and the lava lake that sits at the bottom there, and this incredible and very, very daunting looking lava lake. And then when we see, one of the reasons why it's so dangerous is because the volcano is very, very close to the city of Goma. And sadly, Goma has experienced the eruptions and the lava flows that come out from this. The lava tends to flow very fast because the topography, at first it'll come down very, very quickly. It's a low silica content lava, so it tends to be very, very fluid and not very viscous. It will flow fast. So 1979 was one of the recent lava flows that affected the city, but in particular 2002. This lava flow was particularly devastating because, as you can see, it came right down through the city. 250 people were killed. They were killed in part by collapsing buildings whenever the lava flow came in and came into some of the buildings, some of the earthquakes that were triggered. But also another major hazard here is the silent killer, the deadly killer of the gases. People were asphyxiated by the gases that were coming out. And indeed, there is some concern that if the lava flow comes down into the lake area, that the gases that might be trapped in there could be released very quickly, and you could have a similar situation that we had with that tragedy in Lake Nyos. 250 people were killed in this eruption in 2002, and we can see something of the legacy of that, of why that was so devastating, of the lava flow coming in and just wiping out some of those areas that had been devastated before. We can then go in and have a look at some of the lava flows themselves, those 2002 lava flows, and where they're still sitting. You can see the traces of them still on the landscape here with the volcano in the background. And rather worrying, you can come in and see where some of the houses have been rebuilt over these areas that are at risk. So whenever we woke up this morning to the news of another lava flow happening in this area, you can see why this is something that is causing so much concern, and why there are thousands of people who are evacuating out of the area, many of them fleeing over here to neighbouring country of Rwanda, and people fleeing out of the way because of the danger. Now, this erupted at night as well. You can just imagine the feeling of chaos and terror. These images are coming in, hosted here on the BBC website, show the terrifying views of the lava flow coming down during the night. People battling in vain to try to put out the fires caused by the lava flow, and the lava's slow but relentless creep towards the city. And as a result of that, people having to flee for their lives, flee with whatever belongings they could bring with them, and ending up sleeping in the streets with whatever belongings they have carried with them because of the dangers that are resulting from that. So that's a little tool that you can use if you are wanting to explore this volcano with your pupils and the current eruption that's happening. This will allow them to understand a little bit more of the location and the setting of Nyiragongo volcano.